Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the English Hour. In today's episode, we'll talk about attention, and we'll specifically try to keep this episode short in line with our decision to make the episodes more approachable, because some people find it difficult to listen to a 40-minute episode, and I think these episodes will...
Understandably.
Yes, these episodes will focus on a single topic, a single question. So, as I said, today's topic is attention, and attention is today's topic because I recently got into an IELTS speaking exam, and one of the main questions was related to attention, the importance of attention, and how is attention changing in our age, and which professions need more attention than others. So these are basically the questions we'll talk about. So Canberk, what do you think is the importance of attention in our lives?
Well, hi guys. Attention is everything if you think about it, because without paying attention to something, you cannot affect any change to it. And anything we do in life, we always use change as a driver for improvement, for getting things done. Like if you're at work, my job, for example, let's say my job is to translate a text. What am I going to do? I'm going to write a text based on a target as source text that was given to me. And the text that I'm going to write, I'm going to type every single character of it, and that means change. How am I going to do it? I'm going to focus and pay attention to various levels and various aspects of the text that was given to me. It's going to be the meaning, the structure of the text, the sentences, the paragraphs, the chapter, the organization. So I have to pay attention so that I can do my job. So, yeah.
That's true. So I think another part of attention that is really important is attention is a part of learning, and it's a part of being human. So when we talk about being human, we talk about metacognition, our ability to understand our feelings and thoughts, or our ability to think about our thoughts. So this is supposed to be a trait, an ability that is exclusive to humans. So attention is a part of it because we pay attention to what we do, and then we can think about it. And similarly, based on the example you gave, if you're doing something, if you're carrying out a certain task, you need attention. And if you're learning, you need a lot of attention, because learning requires focused attention. Learning requires a lot of attention. So, and I'll just move on to the other question, since we're trying to keep this episode short. So the other question was related to the effect of the modern age on attention. So I'll first talk about my observations, and I'd like to see if you agree with them and how you would comment on them. So my first observation is that the current age, the modern age, as you might call it, it's, I think, decreasing our attention spans, meaning the amount of attention that we can allocate to a certain task. Because in the past, maybe we had to read a book for hours without interruption, or we did not have constant phone notifications bothering us or disrupting us. So there was a lot more attention, or there was maybe no TV, no internet. So we had larger chunks of time with little to no disruption. But today it's not that way, because we're constantly exposed to information from all parts of our life, and that, I think, decreases our attention span a lot. And I think it also makes attention even more important, because a lot of people are losing their attention span. But if you can keep your attention span high, if you can focus on learning, if you can focus on your job, you can produce much better results. So that's my take on the issue. What do you think?
Well, I agree in the sense that attention is crucial to our functioning, and at the same time, longer periods of attention really do give you better results in certain tasks, maybe in certain projects. I think project is a better word here, because a project is comprised of various tasks stacked together, and one task might require just a few focus areas of attention, but a project is much wider in that regard. So you have to pay attention to maybe different hierarchical levels of attention. For example, a project manager has to look at everything from a higher vantage point, because this person is responsible for the proper functioning of every single element or task within the project. But somebody who is doing a task within the project has to narrow down their area of focus so that they can get the job done. So they don't have to always be thinking about the grander project, the big picture of the project. So I think the length of attention span really depends on the job at hand. You have to be really quick sometimes to switch your attention point or focus point, and sometimes you have to do the exact opposite. So it requires a lot of cognitive flexibility. I think this is key here.
Yeah.
So I would definitely agree 100% when it comes to the fact that our modern times have forced us to be more nimble, more quick on our feet with our attention.
Sure.
And I think there are a lot of reasons why that's the case. But even looking around us, look at us. We're looking at screens all over the place. We're looking at the laptop screen, the plasma TV or the LCD TV screen. We're looking at the smartphone screens all day long for hours. And doing that, looking at a smartphone screen, it's a very active, very dynamic environment. Everything is going on all at the same time, flying colors all over the place. So you have to pay attention. You have so many stimuli to pay attention to, and you have to be really careful to pick and choose where your attention goes. So I think you have to be flexible. I think that's the key.
Yeah. Well, there are so many things that are vying for your attention.
Exactly.
And everyone needs your attention, because marketers need your attention because they want to sell you something.
Exactly.
Businesses, they need your attention because they need you as a customer. Or your loved ones want your attention because they want to feel valued. So attention can impact our lives in various ways.
That's right.
Yeah. Now, I'll move on to the next question, which was about...
And by the way, these questions are directly from the exam that you sat?
Yeah, these are directly from the exam. So nice. I took the IELTS listening exam, I think, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and these are some of the questions that were
pretty cool
directed.
Yeah. So I would be happy to sit an exam that talks about questions like that.
Yeah, I was also happy.
Thought-provoking in a sense.
That is true. So, these questions were all nice, but then I took the exam again, and I took the speaking part again.
Yeah.
And that time, the second time, I was given questions about wild animals and pets, and that was not my favorite topic.
Yeah,
so
that wasn't your cup of tea. Yeah.
Yeah, because I felt like, I wish I was asked similar questions.
Yeah.
But
I think at one point you were asked to name a wild animal.
Yes, I couldn't think of a wild animal because I'm not that much into animals.
Yeah.
So the next question, as I said, was about the importance of attention in certain occupations. So what are some of the occupations that require more attention than others? I'm sure all occupations, all jobs require a certain level of attention, but there are some jobs that do require a lot more attention.
Exactly.
What are they? Like, when I think about it, 3 comes to my mind: surgeons, pilots, and then I'd say teachers. So that might be interesting, but I'll talk about it later. Now, the floor is yours.
Yeah, well, I'm also thinking airport, but I'm not thinking pilot. I'm thinking more about the tower I don't know what's
control tower.
Control tower. Yeah.
Air traffic controllers.
Exactly. People who work for on that control tower, they have to manage an incredibly complex web of traffic. Plane traffic.
Yeah.
One coming down to land, one taxiing to go, take off. Another one is, diverting over the airport to go to a different airport because, they have low fuel, or maybe they want to, change their flight direction, stuff like that. All of these things,
Yeah.
some planned, some unplanned, happening at the same time, requiring your simultaneous attention to multiple stimuli. I think this is really difficult to do.
It
and
is.
let me give you a simple example of this. It's like, Lumosity, right? This
Yeah.
website on brain games.
Yeah.
I kind of like it. I mean, I take to many of their games. I enjoy doing them, playing them. And it's like there's one game there, which is a train of thought.
Yeah.
And it's like a very cool, it's like a very cool concept. It's like there are trains, colored, different colored trains, coming in one by one. And then there are multiple gates, up to 14 at a time. And then you change tracks to make sure that each and every one of them goes to their respective gate. It's colored the same way. But it's like at one point, one is very close to a gate and one is very far away from the gate. And both of them require a track change at the same time so that they can go to the same direction, the correct direction.
Yeah.
So it's like incredibly taxing on your brain. Like after you do that for 2 minutes, you're like looking around and it's like your mind is still going. So I totally, understand how difficult that might be.
Sure. Well, I'd like to talk about the importance of attention in teaching. So generally when we think about teaching, we might not really associate that with attention. But to me, as someone who has been in profession for quite a while, I think attention plays a key role in teaching. Because if teaching is just one directional, if the teacher simply lectures the material and does not respond to students, then the teaching is less effective. But as a teacher, you have to really pay attention to your students, like the verbal and non-verbal cues that they produce, so that you can respond to them. Maybe they don't understand something, maybe they're not sure about something, maybe the material is too difficult or too simple, so you have to change the material. So paying attention to students and integrating attention as a key component of the teaching process can really improve the quality of teaching. So, well, maybe it's not as vital as attention in a surgery, but over the long term, attention in teaching can make a really big difference.
Yeah, totally. And by the way, just a small input. I think being paid attention to is also extremely important from the perspective of the students.
Sure.
Because when they come to the realization that the teacher pays attention to them, I think it's going to make an impression on their behavior, on how seriously they take a certain class or course, and how much they're willing to succeed in that. Because if you realize that there's a human connection, like this person cares for me, then you realize, okay, well, this course isn't that bad at all. I can do this. Yeah.
Well, I'd like to add something here. So we can totally relate to this. And I think we care about you, the listener, because we asked the listeners about the length of the episodes and the content, and we made decisions based on your responses, your answers, and your feedback. So you can feel valued because we value you and we listen to your feedback.
Yeah, we chopped off basically half of our podcast. We can ramble on for another 15-20 minutes without breaking a sweat. Like, we both like talking, and when we talk together, it's like one of us sparks an idea in the other, and it's like it keeps going back and forth.
It's a circle.
Yeah,
basically.
And we're cutting it short for you guys. So
yeah, well, so we will not be very taxing for your attention span. I think it's like right now it's around 13-minute mark, and I think it's a good amount of time.
It's a sweet spot.
Yeah, it's a sweet spot. So
let's wrap this thing up.
You can just grab a cup of tea or coffee
and
enjoy the episode. And if you want to listen to it again, you can just go back and listen to it again.
Definitely.
And by the way, I see a lot of people listening to these episodes like on iTunes and YouTube, but since these episodes are in English, a lot of people listen to these episodes, but they don't write comments. So I'd really encourage you to write comments on iTunes and YouTube, because your comments really motivate us. Sometimes I see comments from our listeners, and they're really motivating. They're really encouraging because, well, when you write comments, we also feel valued.
That's right.
See? Right?
All right.
Okay, we'll see you in the next episode. And for now, bye.
Bye-bye.